Well, I may be in a new setting, and this may be the official start, the official start of the Brian Snow Show, even though I started 2 years ago. There's a reason that this is the official start. And the guests that I have for you today chose their own path, which is why I'm doing it right here, right now. Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this premiere edition of the Brian Snow Show. Now, you may be thinking, didn't we see you do this in 2023? Yes, you did. But the lack of consistency killed it. Because before the tail end of 2023, I had worn myself out because I was doing this show, and of course, I was doing Snowman in the morning. And health issues rose up, plenty of them. The guest that I have here will talk about how you can solve some of those in their own path in just a moment. But let me share a few words with you. Here's the reason I'm making this season 1, episode 1. I want to be consistent with it again. And I want to do it at this time, but it's probably going to be between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern time, depending on what my guests have scheduled. I want to make this 5 days a week, and I want to make it consistently. So what may wind up happening in the future is the fact that I will tape some interviews and episodes in advance and put them together and then distribute them. But the biggest thing I should say that will remain constant is me being here for you guys and with you guys the same way you guys have been there for me and my family throughout all the struggles, the triumphs, the defeats, the bounce backs, and the comebacks. The biggest one for me is the comeback from death, basically, with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And before I tear up again, like I did this morning, I just want to thank everybody that has been there for us and with us. And I say us because it is indeed a team effort. So many people put this on. So many people helped keep it together. So many people rode shotgun with me and Jody and our family while this adventure begins. And believe me, it's going to get even wilder than that, to the point where I have taken a few games off from doing live stream play-by-play to get every single show and brand under Snowman Multimedia together, as Snowman Multimedia is getting ready to celebrate our 30th season. And it's going to be more than just sports. All that being said, it is a pleasure and an honor for me to welcome a pair of people that chose their own path. They decided not to go the conventional way anymore. It's something that's been tugging at me for years. It's been tugging at my wife, and she's gotten me back to that. Forge your own path, just like these two people did. Do me a favor, folks, and I want you to help me welcome Don and Cheyenne Kramer. And here they are right now, mobile as ever. Afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Doing fantastic.
We're awesome. Thank you so much for having us today.
It's a pleasure and an honor. And Don loves kidding around with me. When I revealed my age when we talked before, he says, man, you're just a kid. I feel like a kid. I feel like
Yeah, we're acting like one. As of now.
I can't quit acting like a kid. It's how people know me.
It's good. That is good.
Oh my gosh, you guys are such a delight and have showed me so much just in our recent conversation. So we're going to get to know these two crazy kids right now who are basically living mobile. What got you to come to that decision to say, you know what, screw it, we're doing this on our way? What got you guys to choose that path and make it your own path?
Go for it. Pass that buck.
Well, it's kind of interesting because we went through a huge financial crash around the time of 2009.
Mhm.
And at that point in time, we were losing the house, we were losing a vehicle, we were losing all kinds of stuff. But we both got this same kind of message at the same time from whatever your beliefs are. We're faith-based people. We believe in a higher power. And we both were getting the same message. Let the house go because you're going to go on the road for me. And that was kind of the beginning of our adventure, you might say, where we basically just said, okay, we're letting all that go. We're kind of committing ourselves to our Creator and see where He's going to lead us. So ever since, right around 2009, 2010, we're out here for Him, plain and simple.
Were you scared at first when you chose the path, or did you just dive in head first and said, screw it, we're going for it?
Something about how scared you were.
Yeah. There was a whole series of interesting things that happened to get us into this RV. But I'll never forget the first summer we got into the RV in the May of 2019. And we hung around Raleigh, North Carolina, where we had lived for 30 years. We hung around there for the summer. But finally in August, we got the feeling we needed to get out of town with the RV. And, I think we had all of about $500 to our name. We knew that no matter where we went, there was a bunch of that was going to go in the gas tank of the RV.
Mm-hmm.
And we felt strongly we had to head towards Nashville, Tennessee. And there was a friend that we had who had just been diagnosed with colon cancer. And we went and helped her out for a while. And I do believe we helped her to have a few more good years than what she would have had. But yes, as we were getting ready to leave Raleigh, I'm looking at him going, oh my God, are we doing the right thing? How are we going to survive? And what did you tell me?
God got us.
God's got us. That's what he said. And he was right. And it was very strange those first few weeks. We felt like we kind of had the feeling we knew what Jesus must have felt like. He was just out there doing what he was being told to do and trusting that he was going to be fed in the process. And that was us.
He still has us.
He still has us. Yeah.
He's got me and Jody, and I believe there's a reason he brought Jody into my life. And I'll tell you what, man, when she started talking about alternative living and living in an RV while we find our spot, to say that this black man turned pale would be an understatement. But after a month of listening to her and watching videos, it started kind of sitting in with me. It's kind of like, maybe there is a point to this. Now, I can't wait to get the hell out of here. Give me my equipment, the essential clothes, put us in an RV while we go find our forever place, and let's blow this popsicle stand, man.
There you go.
This is like, let's just work remotely, make sure we got all the supplies we need, and let's get the heck out of here. And now that you have, how did you guys survive it after you helped out the person you helped out? when they were diagnosed with cancer. How'd you guys continue to survive?
Indiana.
Yeah, we did go to Indiana from Tennessee. We actually had kind of a network of people that we knew all over the country to begin with.
Love
so
it.
that helped. We had friends, we had people who believed in what we were about and what we were up to doing. And so we were kind of almost like island hopping, we're going from one person to the next. And, so we've had a lot of help along the way. We've driveway surfed with a lot of people.
That's a term.
In fact, that's what we're doing here now near Knoxville, Tennessee. So, you start to learn all the ways that you can create win-win situations for people.
Mhm.
We have a friend in Florida that we parked in his driveway a couple of times. And one winter, we actually got involved in helping him to rebuild his shed that was falling apart. So, bartering, trading, man, whatever, what can we do for you? You give us a place to park, we'll cover the cost for electricity, whatever, and just, I guess, we've been complaining that we haven't really found where a place to build the kind of community we want, but we have had our own community that has been out there for us. And, we've behaved like mini communities everywhere we've gone.
Don and Cheyenne Kramer joining us, Life on the Road, and we're having fun getting to know them. You brought me on to something. You brought me on to a few products that when I told you my story of beating cancer, and Don, you and I share that in common, so I give you a thumbs up for that. I mean, everything has an alternative method, including living healthy. And when you and I talked, it wasn't, you mentioned a sentence to me and it didn't ring with me until you showed me what you showed me. Sometimes it's not necessarily the vitamins, it's the minerals that you're missing.
Definitely.
And you said that to me, and I slept on that for 2 weeks. Then you showed me a video, and my mouth dropped. Without getting into all the particulars, tell everyone about that.
Video.
The video, or about his story about how the minerals changed his life?
Tie them all together. Why not? Tie them all together.
Well, first of all, a lot of people don't understand. They tell you take vitamins. I'll take all these vitamins
all the time.
But vitamins don't work without the minerals. That's what ties everything together. That's one of the most important things. And our food lacks minerals. Mm-hmm. They have vitamins, but they don't have minerals.
Correct.
So that's the thing that we were taught about nutrition. Good nutrition got to have about 60 minerals every day. That's what your body needs. Yep. And you can go to any vitamin shop or store, whatever, and you get this, vitamins, so-called nutrition. And if you're lucky, you might get 10 minerals.
Mm-hmm.
Far shy of the 60 that the body needs.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you, I've been, for the last, 9 years,
mm-hmm.
I've been getting my 60 minerals every day. From not being able to almost walk. It was about 10 years ago, I was having a lot of trouble with my back, my hip, and everything. And I'm a veteran, and I went to the VA, and they said, you don't have a left hip. You actually have no left hip. It was just worn out. So they said, well, we're going to replace it for you. Everything's going to be great. No problem. Well, guess what? Still had a problem. Actually, I think it was worse. But as time went on, I've tried all kinds of things to make me feel better. My wife had been following a gentleman on Facebook?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they had a conversation for a couple hours. He actually flew from Dallas to Raleigh, where we were living. and he came to see me, and he was going to fix me up. But let me go back a step. The VA's answer, which is most medical answer, was, well, let's replace the other hip.
Mhm.
Let's replace both knees. And I
Oh,
said,
boy.
no,
No, absolutely not.
no.
Absolutely not.
One was no, believe me. So we'll go back to where our friend Fred
Mm-hmm.
flew from Dallas to Raleigh, and he taught us and trained us about nutrition. I didn't come upon this myself. I had
Right.
someone show me.
Right.
You know, I'm not that smart. At least I admit to. And I actually followed everything he said to do.
Mhm.
I got the nutrition. I took the nutrition. And she's my witness. Within a month, I was back feeling fantastic. I mean, the pain was gone. I was out walking. I really, truly thought I wouldn't be able to do that again. And actually, when the doctors told me I would never run again, I can run now. I don't unless someone's chasing me. Or a dog or something. No. But I'm out every day, and I'll walk maybe up 3, 4, 5 miles, whatever I feel like walking. And I can do that every day. You know, today it was a little shorter. I probably only did about 2.5 miles total. That was a short walk. Skip through the park, you know.
Yep. But we learned about all this as a result of, you know, there is a doctor out here whose research is in the Smithsonian Institute, and most people have never heard of him. But it was him who created the nutrition that basically allowed his joints to be rebuilt. He's done the same for NBA players. You know, there was one NBA player, Theo Ratliff, who was told that he was done and his knees were shot and he was not going to be able to play anymore. And Dr. Wallach, through the same kind of mineral-based nutrition as what Don's been using, he said, give me 90 days. We're going to rebuild those joints. And it gave him 10 more years in the NBA. That's, you know, people just don't understand what's possible. And, you know, Dr. Wallach's research, he's done between 20 and 30,000 autopsies, and he's documented the correlations between mineral deficiencies and 400 different diseases. And he's reversed a whole lot of them using minerals.
My turn's next, because there's a pretty set of ladies that I have in my life, my wife and my daughters, that I want to be around for. And there's another pretty set going up, my granddaughters. And I'll tell you what really got me thinking. 2 years ago, my grandchildren were here at the farm and for Thanksgiving. And they were flying up and down the farm like nothing. And they wanted me to chase them. I wanted to chase them. My mind wanted to chase them. My body had other ideas.
Second thoughts, yes.
My body had other ideas, especially given the fact that due to cancer surgery, there are 5 organs missing out of me right now.
Wow.
And I've had so many people, you guys included, call me a walking miracle. Some days I think y'all have no idea what it was like on that slab for 6.5 hours, frightening the daylights out of my wife every minute that passed. And everybody that gave me a compliment for fighting through it, thank you, but I want to do better. And when you introduced this to me, I'm jumping all over it. I'll tell you a funny story. When my grandchildren were here 2 years ago for Thanksgiving, like I said, they were flying up and down the farm all through the grass like nothing. My littlest granddaughter played the dirtiest trick on me that has ever been played on me.
Oh, no.
So her pretty face said, "You can sit next to me, Grampy." My entire body screamed, "It's a trap, Grandpa. It's a trap. She's going to get you." And sure enough, as soon as I sat down, She gave me a kiss and a light tap on the shoulder and said, "Tag, you're it," and took off.
Oh, Lord.
I watched those kids run for 90 minutes.
Wow.
I went in the house, sat on the couch, and passed out.
They just wore you out.
They are still full of it. They still full of energy, running around the house, and I'm hearing them laughing and giggling and everything. Me, I want to join them, but my body said, we're not having them chase us for 100-yard kickoffs up and down the field. No, we're not doing it. But I outlined that story to outline the fact that any and everything is possible, including reversal of your health if you do the right research, or you look at people who did the research for you and you realize what has actually been missing. And it's the minerals that's been missing, not the vitamins, because the vitamins only do part of the job.
It's true. Totally true.
So why do y'all, a couple more questions. So why do y'all think they push the vitamins on us more than they push the minerals? Because since you introduced me to that, that's the first question that popped in my mind.
It's because they've never been trained.
That's the thing.
I mean, the medical schools in this country have been sponsored since day one by the pharmaceutical industry. And so they had to teach a chemical-based curriculum, and nutrition is typically not part of their curriculum.
I can dig that.
Most doctors will still tell you, oh, you're getting all you need if you're eating a well-balanced diet. It's like, no.
Oh, man, since we were kids, all those commercials you see during the Rio program, of course, at the time, which was cartoons, how many of those products would say things like, what am I looking for? A well-balanced breakfast.
That's it.
Yes.
And you got the sugariest doggone cereal next to it, headlining it. Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes, all that sugar, which was a friend of mine until lately. And they tell you it's part of a well-balanced breakfast, and no one introduced the need for minerals to you.
It's true. It's true. And it's sad because, the fact that, first of all, not having the minerals, especially in our children's diets, but then having so much sugar in their diet.
Yes.
And they wonder why so many kids are being labeled with ADD, ADHD, all of these things.
Yep.
I mean, there's a story in one of Dr. Wallach's books that always blows my mind when I read it. And he was walking through a hallway of a children's ward in a hospital, and he had two nurses with him. And he's looking at the pictures on the wall because the kids had been coloring.
Right.
And some of them, they were coloring way outside the lines, and some of them were, almost all black and brown colors and all of this. And he's looking at those pictures, and he looks at the nurses and he goes, this one is autistic. This one has ADD. This one, he's telling
he's picking them off
based on how they're coloring.
Yeah, he's picking them off.
They're like, how do you know? You're right on the target. He said, but if you'll give me these children for a month or less, and we can give them the right minerals, and we can, alter their diet so it's not so sugary, he said, they're all going to color normal.
Right.
And he did that.
They did it.
It was right.
Kids change. Yes.
A couple fans have joined us, Callie Greenshields, and along with the folks from the Strikeout Beer podcast here with us, taking all this information in. Folks,
awesome.
It's not necessarily the vitamins, even though they play a part in it. It's the minerals that have been missing. And I will go ahead and say it aloud, as you've said it to me, for many, many years.
Yes.
Many years. Yes. And the doctors, as you said, have been trained by the pharmaceutical company. And something else the pharmaceutical company has shown me personally, they want to keep you sick. Why? Because there are a bunch of pills, some the size of horse pills, that they want you to swallow.
That's true.
What I realized in lessening my dosages, there's been a fog that I've been in. There's been a fog that I've been in, especially when fighting a little something we like to call depression.
Yes.
So I made up in my mind one day, you know what? I'm not going to take him anymore.
Sounds familiar.
I did something what many people would call dangerous. I got up one morning, I took a swig of water, and I said, "The hell with it." Since then, the only thing I've had to fight is fatigue, and that's from stretching my legs and getting everything together and remember everything I had to do, because I know I got ADHD like a sumbitch, all right? Because I'm overwhelmed with so many things that I have to do, but I forget to write them down. And as my beautiful wife has taught me, and it's very, very true, if it ain't written down, it doesn't exist.
That's true.
You married a smart woman.
Listen,
Keep it in line.
I fought it for 5.5 years. Let me be real. I fought it for 5.5 years because I was blessed with a great memory. Then cancer happened. Then adjustments happened. And now this, which holds my calendar, has everything in it.
Yes.
And I've made sure now to put alerts by it. If it's not in the calendar, it doesn't exist. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist. And it's so very, very, very true. I met these two lovely people in a couple of Facebook groups, and I decided to have them on today to really kick off the afternoon show. And I want y'all back again so we can talk more adventures. But before I let you go for the afternoon, I want to say thank you for coming on. Thank you for being our friends. And one day you two will meet my better half, and we're going to sit somewhere, have a great meal, and laugh everybody out of the building.
All right.
Works for me.
Sounds like we got to do that. Yes.
We're going to do that. And to really piss them off, we're part of the RVs next to each other.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We'll take over somebody's parking lot.
We will do just that. Don and Cheyenne Kramer joining me here on the inaugural edition of the Brian Snow Show. I love you folks very much. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, and I'd love to have you back.
Thank you, Brian. It's an honor.
Callie Green Shields, before we get out of here, says because of the vitamins and minerals you purchase, if they are chemically made, the body is simply, and you know the 4-letter word with that. The body is not designed to absorb chemicals, and yet we have absorbed them for many, many, many moons. Thanks to these two, and thanks to my beautiful wife, who has finally gotten in my head and in my ear about eating correctly, I am now on the path of eliminating a lot of stuff that I ate for years, being in survival mode. And one day I'll get my wife on here to talk about survival mode, because it was a mode that I did not know of until now. That's it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time. God bless you. So long, everybody. The all-new Brian Snow Show has been a presentation of Snowman Sportsnet and Snowman Multimedia, celebrating 30 years in media.